So today I am pleased to introduce to you Mr. Jeremy Dotson. Mr. Jeremy Dotson is a personal friend of mine, and he's here to talk to you about little bits of his life and philanthropy. If everybody can please welcome him.
What's up, everybody? My name is Jeremy Dotson, as she's already said, and I'm here to tell you the benefits and the most important reasons of why philanthropy is good for you and I as well. Let's go ahead and get it started. So, it's just the introduction page of whatever, of the slide, should I say. The importance of philanthropy, and we're going to get into it and everything, so I hope everybody's having a good day. I hope I see some smiles, I see some good food being eaten. So let's get going. So we go to the first slide. Just a little bit about myself. I'm born and raised here in Houston, Texas. I am a current MMA fighter and a boxer as well. I am a kidney donor. I did that about 2013. I am an amputee. If you didn't know, I got the gold bedazzling one here. I am a certified firefighter. I've been doing that for probably like eight years or so. And I'm a father to this beautiful 2-month-old baby right there. So that's just a bit about me. So many different photos. This is the photo of me and my cousin who I donated my kidney to. These are some of the different competition photos. This is more recent, the end of last year, being an amputee as well. And for those of y'all that don't believe it, I got a couple videos to show. If we can get it pulled. That's just a quick snippet. There's one more. That one was pre-amputation. This one here is a jiu-jitsu match I had that's coming up that I had, like I said, at the end of the year that you saw a picture in the beginning.
Here we are, this one.
Yeah, it's that one.
I'm sorry, I have to hit the control here.
No, it's all right.
I do apologize.
It's all right. You'll see a little snippet of it. I did end up winning this match as well. By rear naked choke. If anybody knows anything about jiu-jitsu, no? Nobody? Nobody? You do? Alright. So you know what a rear naked choke is? You want to show? No, I'm just.
Levi,
I'm not trying to go to sleep in it from you, man.
Actually, Levi has ties to us. What was your jiu-jitsu coach's name again? Levi?
Professor.
Professor.
Professor. That's what I'm known by. That's what I'll call him.
Levi.
Good answer.
Levi,
good
you're
answer.
amazing. I love you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm having technical issues.
You had it right there. Yeah,
Did it drag over?
it's right there.
You can see it?
Yeah.
You're amazing?
This one doesn't have any sound, but you get to see the process in which it took place. You get to see some nice little action here.
Can y'all see what's missing? Okay. I just didn't know if y'all could see.
Ta-da. So yeah, like I said, I did end up winning this match by rear naked choke. You'll see here in a second. This was, like I said, this was December of last year, November, December of last year. Pretty fun. It was something that I got back into right after my amputation. So I lost, and the next I'll go into it. So I lost my foot in a motorcycle accident in 2023, June 12th, 5 days before my birthday. Yay. All right. So that was a fun, unfun but fun little event. So it brought me and be able to give back to you guys as well and show you that you can really persevere through pretty much anything. And like a good friend of mine, which is actually her husband as well, which is my coach that you see here, we go by only good days, man. So no matter how hard, no matter how tough things get in life, you know, you can go through a number of good things, a number of bad things. You can see somebody going through something, and that's where you can show that philanthropy and bring about the only good days attitude. And this is just the motorcycle in which I was riding. If you see, it was pretty mangled up, you know. I didn't want to get too gruesome, but this was that. Let's go to the next slide. So let's get into what philanthropy really is. The definition, as in the dictionary, is goodwill to fellow members of the human race, especially active effort to promote human welfare. Also, an act or gift done or made for humanity purposes. Basically, the act of paying it forward. I don't know if anybody knows what paying it forward is. Y'all know? You do? You do? All right. So for those that know and that don't know, paying it forward is basically you take your time out to reach out to 3 different people, do something for them that may not be repayable or something that will help them in any kind of way. And their responsibility is to repay that and pay it forward to the next 3 people in there. And if you see, the branch will just continue to grow and you'll continue to reach more people. You'll end up taking over your community. You'll end up taking over the world at some point with just good deeds and good vibes and standing on business, right? All right. So, different ways that you can apply philanthropy in your everyday life. For you guys, excuse me, you can help a friend that you see struggling with some assignments or need a lunch for the day. You never know what people are going through. They may not understand what's going on in class. They may have things going on at home. You can just be that friend at any time, whenever they may need it. You can encourage your teammates. I'm not sure how many of y'all play sports. You do jiu-jitsu and everything. You're in the track. So you have different teammates and everything that you can give positive affirmations to. They may be struggling that day, and whatever it is that it might be, you in track, they may not be able to make it 200 times a day, but you can help them like, hey man, come on, we can get it done. They may not make it that day, but their mind can be positively influenced by something you said. Tomorrow they might beat you. You know what I mean? You can go make friends with that person that's always sitting along or being to themselves. You never know what that person may be thinking. You know, everybody, I've been in high school before, I've been in school, I've been in life. You know, there's people that choose not to always socialize with everyone. And sometimes that person just may need a friend or just may need somebody to speak to. And that's when you can apply the philanthropy to them and give them some good energy and everything as well. You can take a weekend and go visit some kids in the hospital. There's plenty of kids, plenty of people in worse positions than you and I. I mean, I have an amputation, but I'm here giving back to you guys just as well as you can take that volunteer time, like I said in number 5, volunteer for a nonprofit that gives back to the community. You can go take that time and go speak to those kids, go read books. There's kids in situations where they're 4 or 5, they don't have anybody, and you can be that person. And you also get volunteer hours, and it's just it should make you feel better about everything that's going on and the things that you're doing for people. But my number one thing when it comes to philanthropy, and I think this encompasses everything about it, even when it comes to paying it forward, is do something for someone that can't be paid back. So when I go back to me being a kidney donor, I did that when I was 21 years old, for a cousin of mine who had lupus, right? I wasn't looking for her to give me anything back. I'm still not looking for it. She's since passed. It's okay. But I've never looked for that. So it was just something that I see that she needed, and I was there and I was able to give that to her and see her live a prosperous life until it was, till it was gone. But when you do something for somebody that can't be repaid, everybody's gonna want to try to pay you back. But being able to do something that they need or that they wanted or that you just see and you can step out, whether it's a neighbor, a friend, a family member, that always should warm your heart and be able to help you move forward in life. And it does nothing else but bring you back good energy in your own life as well. So that's my biggest thing, is always try to find something. I wouldn't, not necessarily looking for anything back, but giving without looking for the return. And that's the biggest definition of philanthropy that you can find. And so the next slide, that's a bit about me, and that's a bit about philanthropy and how you can apply it and everything as well. So if y'all have any questions, please ask them away. Open book.
Hey guys, so this would be a great opportunity to ask about any of the things that you're seeing, whether it's about like how does somebody recover after losing a leg? What was your journey like when you had to donate or gauge your kidney? You can ask questions about like, how did you get into firefighting? Any of those questions that are burning, if you just really want to ask any question, it's an open forum, it's a safe place for you to ask.
And I'm here to answer.
I'm here.
So like you got a question, go ahead.
I just heard that you were a firefighter.
Yeah.
Okay, so you seem like the kind of person who's very selfless, right? Do you feel like some of your values that you, I should say, grew up with can be taught to other people?
Absolutely. Selflessness is something that you can learn, you know, and you can see others and adapt that. Just like selfishness can be taught, you know, when you want to hold everything to yourself, selflessness can be something that you can adapt to and pick up as well. So you can start today and become selfless at any point, you know, and I would imagine that you are. All right.
Yeah.
Anybody else? I haven't, but I plan on doing one this year. So I got a jiu-jitsu match coming up, another one in May, and I'm looking forward to some boxing in this summer. But I do want to pick up one this year, so I'll let you know what happens.
Do you pull guard without your leg, or do you take down zone?
Nah, I don't like pulling guard. To me, that makes me docile. But there's times when it's applicable. You know what I mean? Sometimes you may not be able to get that shot, and then I wouldn't pull guard. I would just try to figure out how to, take him down. But I don't like calling it pull guard.
But we did use a double leg, right?
Yeah, I do. You saw it here.
Yeah.
I like to shoot. I'm aggressive with it. Everybody was like, "Why don't you just start on the ground?" Like, no, I gotta stand up.
You guys are having like a mix between both selfishness and selflessness?
Say that one more time.
Would you say it's not having a mix between both like selfishness and selflessness?
Having a
You
mix
say,
of both.
would it be okay to?
Like, how would you feel, like, how would you say about it? Because in my case, I like to help people, but I still try to like focus on myself sometimes whenever I see, okay, I'm not really doing so well here, so I need to focus more on me, and even when other people out there, no problems, on people too, I gotta focus on myself sometimes.
Yeah, actually, it's good to be both in a sense. It's the yin and yang thing, because you can pour out so much that you have nothing left for yourself, and an empty cup can't fill another cup. So you have to, look into yourself and feed yourself with different things. You may need to go out to get some, advice or whatever from someone else, so you can fill your cup, and then the next person can get, what they need from you, and that you're willing to give. But to be fully 100% selfless, it can be a hindrance because then you start, not paying attention to your own needs. And then you yourself can't give what you want to give because you've given it all.
Too accommodating, yeah. We're here.
What is your job like as a firefighter?
It's an adrenaline rush every day, at all times. I remember my first time going into an apartment fire and just getting to see the flames. You would think you would be a little scared, but it's pretty beautiful. Let's not be arsonists though. But it's stressful, but then it's relaxing as well. But that job is full of philanthropy because it's nothing but giving back and helping the community at all times, So whether it's somebody that's had an accident, you got to get them out of a car. Whether it's just someone that's an elder that may need help getting out of the house to go to the hospital or whatever it may be, it's a lot of giving back.
How'd you get into boxing, or what was it, jiu-jitsu? How'd you get into
Yeah, MMA and all that. I got into it. I've always wanted to do it when I was younger. I mean, I got in trouble a lot, So I was like, all right, cool, let's turn it into something. But I went out and found a gym, and I just decided I want to try this out. And it started off a little as trying to find a replacement for football with aggression and all those different things. But then it turned out to be something that it's a discipline. So it helps you structure your mind. It helps you focus and release a lot of stress that you may have. So it's a giant stress reliever. So that's what keeps me into it.
Tell them how much you started with, your weight, and what you...
Yeah, so when I started, I was about 320 pounds. And then at the lowest, I dropped about 140 pounds to be able to compete. So that's what kept me there, because I was like, it benefited me in my health, it benefited my mind. It was just an all-around good deal. Anybody else? I saw another. Yeah. Defensive tackle, man. Yeah.
He's
You play?
HISD though, guys.
What you play? DB, safety, corner, safety, corner. All right. That'll lock them routes down, man. All right.
Is that organization?
This is a brand that I have for myself. I call my leg baby leg because it's my little leg. So I just call it baby leg, and I just got a few apparel things for it.
So I didn't get to introduce that part. So Mr. Dotson is very much an entrepreneur. And as I always tell y'all, just to try to keep growing and branch out and see how you can benefit and brand yourself. So Mr. Dotson, yes, he has a line. It's called Baby Legs. It's called Baby Leg.
Yeah, baby leg strong, man.
How you know?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
I was just gonna ask where you train.
All right, War Training Center. You heard of it? Okay.
Yeah.
Here, come by.
Let's for train at Labyrinth.
Okay.
Oh, we're always there.
Good luck.
You know what Labyrinth is?
Huh?
You heard of Labyrinth?
I heard of it, but I've never been to it.
You should come check it out. We do
Okay.
jiu-jitsu and wrestling.
Okay. How does it feel coming back as an amputee? It was a little awkward because, of course, you're used to having the 2 feet. So, like his question about, do I shoot or pull guard? Those things go in your mind, and I like to take my shot, and so I had to humble myself a lot in that situation because there's things that I'm not gonna say I can't do that I have to figure out how to do in a different way. So it's a learning curve. I'm still learning, different ways, but it's a benefit because now I can't get caught. There's no locking me down. I can always get out of different positions. So there's a plus and a minus to it, just like in everything in life,
Hey, so not to go back to trauma, but when you got into the car accident, I kind of remember Mr. Mahon talking about how you took your own belt or asked for a belt to do what?
Yeah. So.
So this is how crazy, how like we talk about in my classroom, muscle memory, how you learn something so much it just goes on autopilot, right? Check out this story.
Yeah. So when I had the accident, it was on the freeway. And I'm laying there, and of course, time, it feels like it's forever, but it's really seconds. So being that I'm a fireman, I understand about tourniquets and everything as well. So once I saw my leg and everything that was bleeding and everything, so I had on a drawstring belt, or the loop belt, should I say, like military style. I had on one of those. So my first thought was, of course, the pain, but I didn't want to pass away on the freeway. So I just automatically thought, how can I stop the bleeding? Because I know that's the number one thing I have to do. So I grabbed the belt off my waist, I tied it around my leg, and I had the people that got out the car and helped just pull it as tight as they can, and to the point you can't feel anything, because that's what you got to cut off the blood circulation so you don't bleed out there. But yeah, it was a day.
I got one more question. Do you think you died without making the tourniquet?
Do I think I would have?
Yeah.
I'd have been pushing it, because you don't know how much blood is coming out at all. I don't want to get gruesome, but you don't know how much is coming out at one time, so you can't really measure it. So I mean, it's definitely a possibility.
What bike was it that you had?
It was the Hayabusa. I got another one. 8 months later, brother, I got another one. The Hayabusa 1340.
I will tell you this, we got a phone call in the middle of the night, and I hear Mr. Mahon like, what? And he's like, all right, I'll be there. And so then I turn around, what's that happened? He's like, well, J-Doc got to a bicycle accident. And then the first thing I said, I told him to be safe. But he was very much safe.
Yeah.
He was stopped at traffic, so it wasn't like he was being reckless.
Yeah.
So I just want y'all to know, sometimes it's not about you, it's about other people not being aware of different things. So it was at no fault to Mr. Dotson. But things happen, It's not his fault, but that's the problem now that he's got, but he's going to make it happen. So it's a beautiful thing.
For sure.
We got
What was the process of healing your leg after the accident?
That's a good question. It's still in the process, should I say? It's like a forever going on thing.
because it goes up to your knee, right?
No, it's like right here,
Okay.
right below the calf muscle. The process of healing, the first month or two was a lot of pain and a lot of mental work you have to get through. because like you're on crutches and you can't just do, as you would normally.
You can see a better picture right there.
Yeah. So like it's a lot you would have to do, and the pain and all the different things. But it was more or less just trying to make sure you keep it clean, healthy, no infections and stuff like that. So it was more of a mental battle than a physical battle. But I'm not gonna tell a lie. It was pretty painful, but it gets better over time. But
You have a lot of
it's
medical
obvious. Huh?
kids here. You have a lot of medical kids here as well.
Oh, okay. So yeah, anybody who else in the medical? Yeah.
Yeah.
You
got a lot of girls here. You got a lot of guys
Yeah,
here.
you'll see that and a little bit worse, but yeah, it wasn't the most pleasant thing to go through, but it's survival.
Does it hurt wearing your like, prosthetic?
Yeah,
It does. Okay.
yeah. There's days where it doesn't. There's days where it hurts a lot, and there's days where it's in the middle, But originally when I first got it, it had to still shrink and it was still sore and everything had to form. So it brought about pain there. Yeah.
And you still get phantom pains?
No, I haven't had a phantom pain. Maybe 2 weeks after I had it, that was the last time where you still feel the foot or whatever. But I don't, if anything, it's like electrical shocks because the nerve endings are still there. So it just sent a nice little electrical shock to it.
How you not get overloaded? Because you do a lot.
How?
How you not get like stressed out or overworked? Because you do a lot. So.
Yeah, to not be overloaded or stressed, I think all of what I do kind of is a stress reliever, especially when when I go to the gym. That's just like a total release. When you're training, the only thing that can be on your mind is that. So that helps you compartmentalize different things. And people that show me philanthropy, you know what I mean? We can have conversations and I can relieve whatever stress and, talk about things that go on in my life. So I think what I do, it helps stay, should I say, one helps the other.
I'm gonna pause to give you some things. We're here in the room for a minute. So we're just gonna be in this room for a minute. Yes? Y'all kind of picking up what I'm putting down? So we're just gonna be chilling in here. This is a good time for y'all just to keep asking more questions. Mr. Dodson is pretty much, like he said, an open book. You can ask them. Ask the question that you were thinking about.
I feel like you got a medical question. Go ahead.
There's more questions over there too, so just know that, okay? I love the questions. Thank you.
How do you get mentally prepared to go into like the fire station?
To go to the fire station? To get mentally prepared to go in there, it's almost like competing in jiu-jitsu or any kind of fight or combat sport. You just kind of gotta understand what you're going into, and you just center yourself. You have to let go of the ego and things that and you have to go into that philanthropy mode of being able to give back and and being willing to help and have an open mind, open heart. So that's the way I would say you prepare to do that. Yeah, but if you think about it, they're going through a lot as well. And they need you to wrap the ankle or this, that, and the third and bring the wire. But when you look at it on that side, they're having to run miles and work out and play the game and, dealing with coaches. So it's a give and take. They wanted me to, but because I do combat sports and everything, I was like, I know how to, in my mind, I felt like I already knew how to do my own physical therapy. Because what they wanted me to do is like walk slow, and my mind would let me do that. Go ahead. Oh, yes. Going back to work? That one was difficult because, you people there that and work with, they used to seeing you one specific way. And so I think it's more of, a personal thing. You kind of see yourself different. And they're going to obviously see the difference, but they know you as your personality and things you bring. But you're sometimes can focus on like, all right, well, people have to see me this way, and what are they going to say, and how would they think, and maybe something that you would think about somebody else in that same situation that you kind of project. You just kind of got to let that go. Even though it's going to be there, you just kind of understand. You got to, I guess, figure out, all right, I'm going to feel this way, it's okay to feel that way, but I can't let that drive the way I totally think about it.
I will say, his gym friends don't at all care that he has any kind of anything. They harass him. So there's beauty to like people that know you. They don't treat you differently just because of anything of those things. So I think he also benefited from knowing that like everybody's gonna like, I don't care. I'm gonna still push you to the limit of where I think you need to be. So that's a beautiful thing that you have people that encourage you no matter what.
The part of physical therapy, you know, just that alone, that mental therapy of people treating you as normal, even though you want to be. I'll tell them all the time, I'm disabled, man. They're like, no, you're not. They'll just go ahead and trip me. So it's just that fun. Yeah.
What's the training process behind becoming a firefighter?
It's a lot of memory because you got to know the tools on the truck. You got to know different situations, what you would do. You got to know, you know, different alarm calls. You know, different radio, you know, communications. So yeah, it's a lot of that. But once you get it down, it's almost like learning, you know, math, trigonometry, or you know, anything like that. Once you learn the method, certain things will start, you know, keynotes will start ringing in your head. You're like, oh, okay, that means this. Okay, that means this. Oh, that's just an assist call. We'll just go chill for that one. But your first time hearing, all right, the alarms go off and it's time to go to action, and you're like, and everybody that's a veteran, they're just like, calm down, you know. So it's not that hard, but you do have to study a bit for it.
You got a question over here?
What do you listen to before your life?
Good question. Good one.
Um,
You can be honest.
I do a little bit of rough and rugged music, but then I found that jazz helps me calm down a bit more because that elevates me, and sometimes I just need to mellow out. So then I'll put on a little jazz, a little Michael Jackson or something. But I definitely listen to some rap music or some hard metal. Yeah.
Like System of a Down?
System of a Down.
System of a Down?
Yeah, I haven't heard much of them. I haven't heard a couple of songs, but yeah, I do.
You got a question over there?
So since you're a hero, who would you say your hero is?
My hero. That's a good question. I feel like I have multiple for different assets. You know what I mean? It's just like different perspectives in life. Like I know a big one is Mike Tyson, right? And everything that he's gone through in life, but he was also ferocious in the ring, and that was one thing of mine, you know. And then I look at, you know, different people in different ways. So I would say if the number one that comes to my mind is like a Mike Tyson or like a George Foreman, because I met him and he grew up, you know, impoverished area, had to fight to bring, you know, money home for his sisters and brothers and his mother, and now he has multi-million-dollar things, even though he just passed, rest in peace. You know, he has multi-million-dollar things. I've been to his house and his mother's house, his sisters, and, you know, he's been able to provide that by being selfless, you know what I'm saying, and showing, you know, the grit and the will to keep going forward. So people like that I look up to. Anybody else?
Oh yeah, you got some more over here?
Would you have picked up wrestling as another form of grappling instead of BJJ?
Yeah, in high school I was that fat kid that loved football, so I wish I would have dove into wrestling. But now that I do MMA, I mean, you have to know it. I haven't been super strict on just focusing on that, but I've been incorporated into training for sure. Because even though I have one foot, like I've seen, I can't remember his name. They just made a movie about him.
Yes, he's a wrestler.
Huh? Anthony Grovos. Crazy guy when it comes to wrestling. You know what I mean? And so looking at that, I'm like, all right. Because I knew about him before the movie and all the different things. So looking at that, I was like, all right, I can still get into, you know, wrestling, and I'm gonna need it because I'm down a foot, you know. So anybody else?
Perfect. We got two more. Go ahead.
Meeting George, I was probably like 12 years old, and just imagine 12 years old, you just look up to a guy that's like 6'5", 6'4", and you just like, wow. And you watch him on TV and everything like that. So it was a bit of a reality shock but then after a couple times, it was cool. You just wanted to be around it because he just got good energy, man. His hands was huge. Of course, I was younger, you know, so his hands just felt like the most massive hands that I ever shook, you know. But he's a good guy, always good guy, always mellow. You know, he would let us do whatever we wanted around.
I think you find that most fighters at a pretty professional level are very somewhat mellow because they know the aggression doesn't make you a better fighter-ish. Actually controlling those feelings is what makes you a more disciplined, better fighter. So you're not out of control, then you can be in control.
For sure, for sure.
What's your favorite takedown in submission?
That's a good one. My favorite submission would be, I really like the rear naked choke, but I like the Kimura as well. Just because you can do a lot with it. My favorite takedown, the blast double. Because it just reminds me of tackling. It's just boom, and you know, if you get stuck, you can just do it again, you know. But then it comes to chain wrestling and all the different things like that. But I would definitely say the blast double and the rear naked choke. Yeah. Yes? No? Tell you what?
What's the method to get the best blast?
Let's see the setup. Let's see the setup.
The setup.
The best method, all my wrestlers in here, you know, people that know about it, it's the fake shots. You know, you gotta set it up to get them to come, you know, rise up, and you can go down for it. That's the best method, I would say. Just faking it and being able to go for it. Once you go for it, you gotta commit. If you don't commit, you definitely will get it stuck. Anybody? Okay.
So you don't wrestle with your prosthetic, right? Of course, or you don't do any sort of fighting with your prosthetic, right?
When I train for MMA or whatever, I train with it and without it because, like I said, I wanted to take a match for MMA. You can't wear this, excuse me, you can't wear this in the cage. So I'll take it off and train without it for that. But for jiu-jitsu, when I'm doing jiu-jitsu, I take it off and just go without it.
So when it comes to the blast double, how do you, like, you only shoot off one leg and you generate like enough power to like drive him through?
Sometimes it turns into chain wrestling, you know, but to get deep enough into it to push him back. It comes with the bounce, you know, the bounce, and I get to push a little bit, and then I'll wait till they kind of press forward.
So you
and
use
I'll
your own momentum to...
Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta use different aspects, but yeah, I do it that way. I fight at 170, and I'll take jiu-jitsu matches or anything in between like 170 and maybe like 190. Yeah, the lowest I ever cut was to 160 pounds, and yeah, I would never do that again. Not that far. No, I try not to get too dehydrated. I actually work out to get that low. I mean, of course you cut the water, but I try not to, you know, deplete myself too much like that until I just be totally drenched.
So like you fight in the regionals down in Houston?
Mm-hmm.
That's it?
I had a couple competitions. As a matter of fact, the one I talked about in May is going to be in Belize. So, yeah, in May.
What promotion or is
It's for Pro FC out in Belize. Yeah, they should have it online and everything. I'm sure she'll be able to show
If
it.
y'all want to know when his next fight or any of those things are coming up, please. Dawson loves to have fans. Of course, we want more positive.
Fans make you win.
What it be at?
Where what?
The fight.
Different venues. Like this past Sunday when there was one in Escapade off of 59 and Emancipation. So they're just different venues. There's no specific one that they just have, you know. Yeah, you do follow the different promotions, so like Fury or Elevate or Pro FC, those different ones. They'll post up like the flyers of the fight, and it'll have the address, the time, and date, and everything like that.
How much do you walk around at?
Right now, right now I'm a little heavy, so I'm like 200, but typically I'm about 190, 195.
Was that picture in the operating force?
So This picture was, I think, two days or a day after, so I lost my foot. The accident was on the 12th. This may have been the 13th or the 14th. So I hadn't already had the final surgery. So the final surgery was on the 16th.
Scratched your leg, you just like, or did
So what you see right here is what they call a wound vac. So like this black piece right here is not my leg. It's basically something they put over a wound, and then that hose, barely can see it, but it's a little bitty hose right there. It's a suction. So they basically, if you ever think about like those, you put a meat in the vacuum seal, it's like that, and it's just continuous all day, and it's meant to keep the infection out. So it just pulls out all the pus and different things that come out. So, but yeah, that was maybe a day or two after the accident, and then that the 16th, the day before my birthday, I actually had the final surgery.
as someone who like rides a motorcycle, how dangerous are like the people around you? Because I know
Yep.
that's kind of like the biggest fear of mine, is like the people around you are like.
You want to ride? I would encourage you to, but I would encourage you to understand that it's a dangerous sport, or a way of travel. Just like a car, just like anything else, it just has its different level of danger. I would say when you ride, always expect no one to see you. Even, I don't care if you're sitting right next to the window, if somebody's on their phone, even if they're not on their phone, like their mirrors don't pick up everything, everybody's not alert, everybody's not checking and looking. So always ride, like no one sees you, like you're invisible, and never ride if it's 5 cars packed up on a freeway, get around it. Never ride in the middle of that, because you never know what happened. People just get over it suddenly or anything, so always ride that way.
If y'all were curious, Mr. Dodson, yes, has another bicycle, and yes, he continues to ride.
Yes, man. I was gonna ride today, but I was like, it might rain.
How did you get signed to promotion, and how long did you train to you got your first match?
I was training maybe like 2 years before I got my first match. And to get to those different promotions, that's when you join a gym. You can freelance and get in, but it's better to have a team in a sense, because for one, you'll be able to train and get better at that. But most times the coaches set that up, and y'all have like a team contact with the promoter, and they'll put it together like that.
So you have a gym, like you go to a gym? Your gym is connected to a promotion?
It's not connected to a promotion, but when the promotion is looking for fighters, they contact the coaches, and the coaches say, hey, I got this guy at 135, I got this guy at 170, I got this guy, that's able to fight, and the matchmakers for the promotion will say, okay, I got an opponent for him, and different things like that.
That's a good question.
Very good question.
Again, you want to go to a gym that will take care of you, will make sure that you're prepared. Because if a gym, they say, all right, you just started, we'll set you up for a fight, they're not really they're not really looking out for your best interest. If you have a gym and you go to it, you want to know, like, hey, what are the standards? How do I build up to that point? You got to believe it. There's progression.
Yeah.
I know from Mr. Mahon, from my gym, from Mr. Mahon's gym, which is also Mr. Dotson's gym, you have to show so much dedication. You did have to do some kind of what they call an exhibition or a smoke fight, just to see how you would do. And then from that point on, you have to do 3 amateurs.
At
fights,
least before
at
you go
least
pro.
3 amateur
And before you
fights.
get into the amateurs, you gotta get a blue belt, so it's
certain requirements
a
you have to
requirement.
make.
But it's all basically, those requirements are so that you can protect yourself, and you will be protected, and you'll be well prepared. The worst thing you wanna do is have that cage closed, or be in that ring and that bell ring, and things get going, and you just, you're like, oh wait, I'm outclassed, I'm out, and the coaches also, they'll look out for you as well, in a sense, because you can have a guy that has 20 fights, or just say 5, and this is your debut. That guy that fought 5 guys may have went against just say 3 very good contenders, that could go on to be champions or whatever. That may or may not be the perfect match up for you as a debut, you know? Whereas you could go against a guy maybe 1-0 or 2-0, you know, that still fought some good people, but their experience level is still similar to yours. So you won't be in there and you won't feel outclassed and you won't get in there and it won't go your way. Mario.
All right, guys, I'm gonna hit pause. If you want